Hi, Agnes. Welcome to the How to Be a Redhead podcast. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me, guys.
Yeah, we're so excited. So, we wanted to ask first, what was it like for you personally growing up with red hair? We know that you grew up in Poland, correct?
That's right. But it was challenging, to say at
Yeah.
least. I faced a lot of teasing and bullying as a child. I felt like I was isolated and not really wanted. Yeah, it wasn't the best childhood, honestly.
Oh,
but
wow.
it took me quite some time to realize that I love my red hair, probably around the age of 15, 16. But as a child, I tried to dye my hair a couple of times using different natural ingredients. And honestly, I didn't even care what color I would get. I could be, brunette or blonde. All I knew that I didn't want to be a redhead. It was terrible.
Yeah,
Wow. Wow. And
wow.
it's already so hard to be, Stephanie and I were just talking about this the other day, but it's already so hard to be 15, 16 years old anyway. And then you
Mm-hmm.
wanted to change who you were really. So, what did you use to dye your hair? You said you used some natural products. Would you use like Sun-In and stuff like that for to go blonde? And
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. Whatever I would find in the bathroom.
Wow.
But I felt miserably. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
Thankfully, honestly, because I realized that after a while that I love my color, and maybe
Yeah.
that would destroy my virgin hair if I actually did something with it.
And so
Yeah.
what advice do you give? Because Stephanie has a great story that she went blonde for 7 years. But Steph, in some ways, I think it helped you love your red hair even more because once you became red, you were like, why did I do that? So I was wondering, Agnes, do you feel like you're happy that you dyed your hair to appreciate it more? Like what suggestion would you give to a young person who's listening right now and wants to dye their hair? Just do it and get it out of your system. Like, what do you think?
I would actually say to wait it out because at some point you will fall in love with your red color, and maybe it's gonna take a couple of months or a couple of years, but there's something beautiful about our red tones, and I think you should just wait it out.
Yeah.
It's just the face.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's just a phase and something that a lot of redheads unfortunately go through, but it's part of finding out who we are. So you say that you dyed your hair. Um, how do you care for your red hair now, and what products do you use?
I try to use stuff that are color safe, like shampoos and conditioners,
Hmm.
something that will prevent fading
Mm-hmm.
or and maintain the vibrancy of the hair. I try not to use any hot tools at home. I'm a
Oh,
model. I use that on set all the time. So at home, I'm trying to be as natural as possible. I trim my hair every second month. And from
Oh,
time to
wow.
time, I treat myself with a nice gloss with a drop of the Cooper color just to enhance the red color.
Wow. Yeah.
yeah.
It looks so beautiful and shiny.
Thank you.
Yeah, it
I
Yeah.
appreciate
really it really
that.
does. Where do you get your red hair from?
um, Genetically,
Yeah.
from my father's side, my father was a redhead.
Okay,
Oh,
awesome. That's great. And then
that's so nice.
with modeling, and we'll definitely go into this on like what sparked you to get into model and everything, but um, do you ever get told that you look like a certain redhead celebrity?
Oh, yes, absolutely. uh, I have so many stories about that. A lot of people say that I look like Nicole Kidman when she was younger. I
Hmm.
remember one time I was shooting an editorial on the streets in New York City, and at some point a group of girls were started circling around me and asking for an autograph, and they firmly believed that I was Emma Stone, which was fascinating. But most of the people say that I look like that girl from that '70s show, Laura Prepon. A lot of people say
Yeah. I
Oh,
that.
can
I
see
do see
that. I can see
that.
that.
And I saw a couple of times people tried to sneak a picture of me in the subway, and they
That
were pointing fingers at me. It's like, oh my god, that must be Laura Prepon.
Oh my
Oh my
God, that's so funny. And
gosh.
you're like, yeah, oh my, you're like, you can take a picture of me, but I'm not really
Yeah,
her.
absolutely. I
That's
mean, it's a huge compliment, so I don't mind.
Yeah, I think
yeah.
all redheads are compared to some redhead celebrity,
Right?
just because of the red hair, not even
I
because we actually look like them.
Yes, I think it's natural for other people to say that.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so funny. So, okay, so you grew up in Poland. What brought you to New York? We know that you told Adrian and I you've been there. You've been in the city for about 8, 9 years. Did your you wanting to get into modeling, dance, and acting strive you to move to the city?
um, Actually, opposite.
Opposite. Okay.
I started dancing, so I was always creative as a child, and I painted, I act, I dance. When I was 8 years old, I begged my parents to sign me up for dance classes. So I think early on, I followed my path, and I knew that I want to be on the stage. In the end, I graduated dance university back in Poland, and I did 2 years at the Jazz Dance Theaters, following up by 2 years at the Baltic Opera in Gdańsk. And at some point, when my contract expired, I started traveling, and I came to New York City, and I fell in love with New York City so much that I tried to find the best way to stay here and work. And at that point, modeling sounded like an easy way out to get my visa and my work permit. So I went to thousands of open calls in New York City, and in the end, I got a couple of contracts from different agencies, and I signed with State. And I thought it's just gonna be a small journey just to settle down in New York, but it ended up to be a very long, beautiful, a decade-long journey, and I absolutely love it. I didn't expect that modeling will turn out to be a full-time job for me.
Right, right. Because I know it's such a hard industry. We have interviewed so many models and actresses on this podcast, and what we take away is it's really, really hard work. It's hard work to model, and not only model, but dance and act too is everything that you do. So that's really incredible. So can you tell us more about how you're doing it all? How are your dancing, modeling, acting, or how you've done it all in your life so far?
I think I was just very passionate, and you know, I I had to work really hard to be to where I am right now. I don't have any influential parents or family. I came from Poland with zero network, so I knew I had to work extremely hard to succeed. And that's what I was doing. I was just following my dream and trying to prove myself and my family that I'm able and capable of doing so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That's
wonderful. Do
incredible.
you go home and visit?
I try to go home once, twice a year.
Oh, that's nice.
Um, yeah, it's usually a beautiful time. I try to stay there at least for 2 weeks.
Okay.
I miss my family a lot, and my entire family is back in Poland.
Mm.
Uh, and it's difficult and challenging sometimes because I wish I could have my mom next to me. I wish I had a bigger support system here, but that's the path I chose for myself. So, it's either or. Sometimes you cannot have everything. But, we're living in a days of WhatsApp and FaceTime, so it's way easier than it used to be to stay connected with your family members and your friends at home.
Definitely, definitely. I know
Yeah.
technology is a really good thing in that aspect. So what sparked you to get into modeling?
Um, I think that's a different way of being creative. When I came to New York City, I knew I cannot dive in right away to acting because of my accent. It took me a long time to improve my English, to work on my accent, to take some acting classes at Stella Adler. So I needed something else besides acting that I could do, make my
Okay.
money, make my living, but also something that will be very creative so I can actually enjoy my work. And that's how I started modeling.
Wow.
And I love everything about it, honestly. It's challenging, it's competitive, it's frustrating sometimes, but you have to love it all in order to survive.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I
And
was
when
wondering
go ahead.
when you came from Poland, did you feel like your red hair was going to be like, quote unquote, your calling card? Like, okay, I have red hair, so it's going to give me an in when it
Mm,
comes to modeling and dancing and acting. I was wondering if you felt lucky in a way to have red hair when you came to pursue your career.
Yes and no.
Hmm.
I really hope so. And the problem is, not every agency wants to have more than 2-3 redheads on board because it's such a unique color. And a lot of times when you go to the castings and it's an open call casting, the client will usually go for a blonde or brunette, not really a redhead. I feel like the casting director has to fall in love with your red hair color in order to book a job. So it can be challenging at the time. You have to have a lot of patience, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no, I bet. It must be so challenging.
And when traveling for gigs, have you noticed people treat you differently because of your red hair?
Yes, a lot of people think I'm
Yeah.
Irish or Scottish or
Right.
Norwegian, especially when I travel to Boston or Massachusetts. And if I wear green, people assume right away that I'm Irish, which is
Yeah.
actually fascinating for me. But now I love my red hair color. And it's kind of nice when people notice that and try to talk to you. Maybe because it's just because of the red hair color, but it's still very nice.
Yeah, definitely. What's been one of your favorite campaigns to work on with modeling?
There's so many, honestly. I feel like every campaign has a different story. One of my very first big campaigns in New York was for Google. And I remember I walked in this small casting studio and they didn't tell us what the casting was for. They set up the fan right in front of the camera and they just blow up the fan and all you had to do is just stand there and smile. I started laughing because, like who would expect, a fan? My hair is all over my face. And that was it. I booked the job. I still didn't know what the job was about. We shot it in the Google headquarters in New York City. And a couple of months after, I saw my face on every single billboard in New York. And that was one of those moments when you felt like, oh my God, I truly made it in New York.
Yeah,
Yeah.
congrats. That is
That's
so
Thank
great.
you.
awesome.
If you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere,
You
right?
can make it anywhere. Yeah, absolutely. But there's so many other jobs. Like I did last year a casting with Drew Barrymore. I was back in Poland actually, and I was sitting in my niece's room full of dolls and like pink coloring. And it was a big Zoom call, probably like about 10, 15 people on a Zoom. They asked me to dance. I was laughing. I was embarrassed. I was in my niece's room. In the end, I booked the job. I still didn't know what the job was about. And I walk on set, and Drew Barrymore is there.
Cool.
She gave us a hug, and we shot
Oh,
probably for like 16, 17 hours straight. That was the longest time I spent on set in my entire life. But in the end, I was on the cover with Drew Barrymore and on one of the magazines. My face was all over the Ulta Beauty and CVS pharmacy. The small castings and those unknown castings that you do, those random castings that came in and out, and you don't even know how it went. Turns out to be a great opportunity for the model, for the filmmaker, for the casting director, and then you ended up seeing your face everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, wow, that's so spectacular. Yeah, like goosebump moments when you think about your
Absolutely.
career, right? Yeah, and like all your hard work is paying off and has paid off. Where do you gain some of your fashion inspiration from? Do you have any fashion icons or maybe modeling, acting, dance icons?
I actually don't because that changes so frequently.
Yeah.
Like every week, I follow
Mm.
someone else's on Instagram or their stories. I think my style is very much undone,
Mm.
that
mm,
effortless,
yep.
uh, leisure. I love layers. I love oversized items. I love flowy fabrics, something that will make you feel comfortable, especially during the movement. I walk a lot in the city, and I
Mhm.
feel like comfort is the first thing I would care about. So this flowy, oversized stuff will make me feel comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, I know nothing like comfort. Like Adrian and I love our Birks just because, right? Adrian, they're like
Oh,
so
we can
comfortable.
conquer. We were like, we can conquer the day in our Birks. Yeah, and I've been loving the oversized like jeans and oversized things too. I'm so happy that's back because it's
I'm
so
happy
great.
too. Yeah, and I think it changed with me after COVID.
Mm.
When you
Yeah.
stay at home for so long, you don't want to go back to skinny jeans anymore.
No. No, I'm so happy they're out. It's so great. So tell us about your first acting role and how it came about.
Um, so my first acting role was here in New York, actually. When I graduated Stella Adler Studio of Acting, I signed up for every single free website for actors. And I was studying them religiously every single day, 1 hour in the morning. I would walk through all the castings and apply by myself. And finally, I landed a supporting role in one of the films, Airbnb. And that role led me to another one and another and another one. Last year, I did 3 feature films and probably around 7, 8 short films.
Wow.
They're still in the post-production process, but yeah, I feel like if you work hard and you put your mind into it, you can make anything happen.
Oh, that's so
Definitely.
true. That's so true. We say that all the time. I feel like all of your hard work, even when you don't think it's going to pay off, will eventually pay
Yeah.
off. If you just keep going and believing in yourself, you can get a million no's. Stephanie and I always say this. You can get a million no's, but all you care about is that one yes. That's what's going to make a difference. And so just keep
Absolutely.
going and going and going. I love to hear stories. Like, I don't know why this one just popped in my head, but one of my favorite stories, she's not a redhead, but Katy Perry. I know she said that she tried so long, to make it. And she was getting money from her brother, like loans, because she had no money, because she was trying to make the singing career work. And she just believed in herself so much. And she's like, I'm going to give it one more year. And then it just
Yeah.
kept being years. And then she finally got a yes. And it was huge, and she became who she is now. And I just love those stories because it's inspirational for people who are working hard towards a goal, no matter what you're doing, whether you're a model, an actress, working in your own business, whatever it may be. But it's so important to just have that great mindset, like you said, because if you don't have that, you're not going to make it. You have to be positive and believe in yourself.
So true.
Absolutely, absolutely agree. And sometimes it takes years, but you have
Yeah.
to keep going. You have to be extremely patient.
Yeah.
Yeah. Patience is a virtue.
I know. I know. So how do you personally stay motivated? Just out of curiosity, like in such a what you said too, especially with modeling, such a competitive industry.
It comes and goes. It's not always as beautiful as I said. Sometimes you feel down, and sometimes you feel like it's over. I had those moments in modeling many times that I didn't book a single job for like 3, 4, 5 months. And in my head was, okay, my career is officially over. I'm not booking anything. I have to move on. I have to find some other source of income. But then you land another job, and that job will lead you to another job. And I feel casting directors they do see your energy. If you are
Yeah.
positive, if you bring smile on a casting, they will see that,
Yeah.
and they love that, like, and that will attract new jobs, new opportunities, and new possibilities for everyone.
It will.
Definitely.
It
Yeah.
will.
And we
Yeah.
wanted to ask too, because you're wearing green. What are some of your favorite colors to wear with your red hair?
I love earth tones, all
Yeah.
the earth tones and muted colors. I do wear everything, honestly, but I think green, beige, baby blue. I love baby blue or lavender.
Yeah.
But I think
Same.
earthy tones are my comfort tones,
Yeah.
comfort colors.
I know you can't go wrong, and obviously black. I feel like when Adrian and I lived in the city, and we visit there a lot. It's like you can't go wrong with black.
You
No.
can. That's another thing. When I moved to New York for the first couple of years, I would only wear black because I thought every model should wear black. And at some point, I was like, I want to explore the colors. I want to change my closet entirely. So now the black is there still in my closet, but I love to challenge myself with different colors.
Redheads, have you heard?
We aired on ABC's Shark Tank, episode 14, season 15. We are busy developing products and continuing to grow this incredible redhead lifestyle brand.
Check out our mascara and eyebrow products in red hot shades, hair care, merch, lifestyle items, and so much more. Redheads, we can now rejoice.
Finally, there are products for us.
Use code podcast to get 15% off your next purchase. Shop at shop.howtobearedhead.com. Before we came on, you were telling me about how, you go through so much sunscreen to make sure that you're always protected. Was there a journey back from when you were living in Poland, talking about your childhood, or even into your 20s, maybe when you moved to New York too, that you had a hard time embracing your fair skin? Was that ever something that you dealt with, or did you always love it?
No, actually, I didn't love it always. I look up to my older sister, and she has a beautiful olive skin tone and dark hair, and she was my inspiration as a child, and I want to be and look just like her. I would force myself to tan, even though I would burn like a lobster, and it was painful. But I hope that I will break that curse, you know, and if I will be explored to sun enough, at some point I will tan, but that never happened. So I learned it in a hard way that I have to use sunscreen every day, even if it's cloudy. And you will be surprised, but quite often, even if it's so hot outside, I would choose long sleeve over a tank top because I'm afraid that my shoulders and my arms would get burned.
Yeah. Have you ever had a situation where you had a modeling job and you got a really bad sunburn?
Many times.
Yeah.
Many times. And there's no coming back from that. And it's actually very embarrassing because we as a model, we have to take care of our bodies, and it's our it's our job to actually cover ourselves up, put a sunscreen on, because then you woke up on set and the client booked you from that particular picture, from your Polaroids. And if they see anything outside of that picture, they are allowed to get upset with you, with the agency, because we're talking about big money most of the time. So it's our job to cover ourselves up. It's our job to use sunscreen.
Yeah. You know, sunscreen is so important. And we know that you blog and are active on social. What made you want to start that?
It started actually during COVID.
Okay.
You know, there was not much modeling going on or acting during that time. Most of the studios were fully shut down for a period of time. And I still want to be creative. I still want to do something with my time because I was in New York for 2 years. I couldn't leave the country. I couldn't come back. So I was here. And I think that's what I start exploring my creativity in a little bit different way because I'm not a writer. I'm still learning stuff. But that was my way to stay creative and focused.
That's great. That's really, really great. And so, can you tell listeners how they can access your blog and ways that they can connect with you further?
Yes, absolutely. My blog is named Artyszka in New York City. Artyszka, which is my last name. agnesartych.com. You can send me an email. You can DM me on Instagram. I always reply or try to reply. But I would love to connect with more people, especially with more redheads.
Yeah, no, that's so nice. So when it comes to your routine too, with your skin routine, do you have any favorite brands? You know, maybe some favorite skincare or even sunscreen brands. Do you have any favorites?
A lot of favorites. I love the Korean brand Laneige. It's very soft to your skin. When I feel that I want some luxury on my face, I think Elemis London is a great choice. But I like to change it from time to time. Like every 2-3 weeks, I change my skincare routine and see what actually works on my face, what doesn't. And that's why I always trying to be truthful to myself, and I always try to products before I write a blog post or before I review any products. I'm trying to be truthful to myself and to the brand as well. But yes, there are so many great products on the market these days.
There is. Yeah. There's such a great, Stephanie and I always say, like, it's amazing to us that we've been doing How to Be a Redhead for 13 years and we're still finding new skincare brands. Like, you would think that we would know them all by now, but Steph, right? Especially you. You're always like telling me about a new brand and I'm like, wow, another one.
I know.
I mean, we know thousands of them.
There's so many products out there, and it's finding which ones are right for you, like you and your skin type, because we've talked about this on previous interviews that we've had. But there's like so much to see, like when you go on TikTok, but you have to find out, okay, is this moisturizer going to work for me, or is this serum or sunscreen, you know, like you just, and it's all trial and error, a lot of it, and finding out which ones work for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I still have a box of cosmetics and skincare underneath my bed and they're waiting to be given away because they're just simply not working on me.
Yeah. I have the same thing. Yeah, we usually give them to our mom. We're like, here's a bag, take these.
That's what I do.
And then she'll distribute.
Yeah. And can you share any upcoming collaborations or exciting opportunities that you have on the horizon, Agnes?
Yes, I'm actually filming Beach Film Maidens. It's a feature film.
Oh,
We're filming
wow.
in New York, so I'll be back on set on Saturday in a few days.
Nice.
Oh, that's
That's
so
Very
great.
exciting.
I wanted to
Yes,
ask, what does featured film mean?
it's a full length film.
Oh, it's a full length, so hour and 45 to 2.5 hours.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
really cool. And what's your character?
I cannot say
Oh,
much about
okay,
my
okay.
character
Okay, all right.
yet.
We'll just keep up to date on your social. Get
Absolutely.
any
Please
updates.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Agnes. I feel like, we're so inspired by your hard work and your
Mm-hmm.
dedication and what you've done since you've come to New York, and just to read all of your accomplishments so far is so awesome. And like I told you before, she also calls herself a self-proclaimed professional bruncher,
I know.
which
I
I
love that.
absolutely love. And so I hope you just keep brunching and killing it in your career. We just are so excited to follow all your success.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so
Thank
much for having me.
you. Thank
Thank you.
you.